Just bring in the demonologist right now. 1, 2, 3. The power of Christ compels you. Be done. Because, ew.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where we feel like something really, really bad is gonna happen. I don't know. My name is Mary.
I'm Josh, and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Something is coming. In fact, Sarah is off in hiding, so something doesn't happen.
There was too much foreshadowing for Sarah, so she had to hide.
Yes.
And I'm Melanie, and you know what? It is as bad as it seems, and they are out to get you. 100%.
Well, we've had an interesting week here.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Josh, did you see my midlife crisis purchase?
I saw your midlife crisis purchase.
What was that? Was that convertible?
Uh-huh.
She bought a stereotypical midlife crisis car.
I bought a 2019 Ford Mustang GT Premium convertible.
Oh, well, aren't you special?
You bought a car. I bought a cello for my first midlife crisis. So,
Okay.
I mean, I can't judge.
Fast cars.
I'm still waiting for midlife because mentally I'm 21.
Yeah, mentally, I think, oh my God, yes, this weekend, can I just tell you the most exciting thing that happened?
What?
So we have, where my cabin is in northern Michigan, we are around a little lake. And the weekend before Halloween, every year we have a little Halloween thing where we trick or treat. So it was last weekend, and it's a thing where kids can trick or treat for candy, and then adults trick or treat for shots.
That's awesome. Ooh. Oh my God, what a great idea.
By the time you get around to the other side of the lake, like, you're toasted. And then my brother has a big Halloween party at his place. So anyway, I was there with Seth, and it was this woman I'd met once before, but like a while ago. And then she's like, "Oh, and you're Seth." And she said, "And Seth, is this your daughter?" So I am a year older than Seth.
But he has that gray beard, right?
Yeah, he has chops and it's really gray. Right, I know. And I just started laughing, and I was like, I am never letting you forget this. Ever.
Poor Seth.
I know.
So you're his daughter that's a year older than him.
Yeah. I will take it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I told her that we were best friends now.
Oh.
Oh,
So
my.
you made a purchase. You got told you were younger, and I spent the weekends, very interestingly, in Salem, Massachusetts, with Omri Katz, Thora Birch, Vanessa Shaw, and Jason Marsden, and Jason's girlfriend and Omri's girlfriend, and it's just a bunch of Halloween weekend that we've been talking about, where the Hocus Pocus folks, can't call it Hocus Pocus because of the strike, they had a party at a place called the Bit Bar in Salem. And if you've never been to Salem in October and you like Halloween, you will be like a kid in a candy store up there. The cast came up there. It was their first time there in 30 years since they had made the movie. They went around to the filming locations on Sunday, but Friday night was a party at the Bit Bar, and there was a burlesque show. Ooh. So everyone came in costume. I dressed as Billy Butcherson. I'll throw up some pictures on our social media. And I had the pleasure of driving them all over Salem for most of the weekend, not Sunday because it was a private tour. Yeah, spending the weekend with Omri Katz, and I posted an interview that he did with Jason Marsden on our social media for Channel 25 in Boston. And there was a little Dallas reference in the interview, too. So if you haven't seen it, check that out. But yeah, it was quite the blast, and they'll probably be back there next year as well. And while we're on the subject, I want to thank the Horror Squad podcast, Joe and Steve, who run that, and Joe's girlfriend, Sam Stair, who really spearheaded the effort to put that on with Jason Marsden. And we're probably going to do, I know I've thrown out the idea of Mary and I possibly, because Mary loves horror movies and such,
I do.
about doing a joint podcast, just getting to know each other and that sort of thing, and cross-promoting each other. And maybe we'll have a table on the Salem Common next year. So I know Amy Harrow was there. She came up with her husband.
Oh, cool.
And Magic's Happening. A woman makes candles. She came up from New Jersey last year and had a booth at the Common. And she had me bring Omri a black flame candle that she had and have him take a picture with it. And she used it for social media. And it actually gave her the confidence now to approach celebrities with her candles. And she's done over 100 in the last year for celebrities.
That's a lot.
So she came and she brought a gift for each member of the cast. And surprisingly for me, it was her Hocus Pocus collection of candles. There is Drop Dead Moron, the Sanderson Sisters, Salem Mass, and the Black Flame Candle. So a special thanks to Magic's Happening, and you can find them online, magicshappening.com. Keep your eyes on 90s Con in Hartford this coming March, because there could be something happening. So
they're working on something.
They're working on something, but I'm not going to discuss it yet. So
also another shout out, thank you to our Patreon members: Brendan Fillick, Captain America, Marie Johnson, Michael Jung, Jason Carter, Jennifer Indelicato, Laura Bernheim, Brad Maholan, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano. We don't want to forget you guys. So
thank you.
Keep us boozed up. I was able to, because of you guys, I was able to bring a bottle of J.R. Ewing bourbon to the after party after the Hocus Pocus. I'm sorry.
Perfect.
It's just a bunch of Halloween event. And this kind of hits us, actually. I'm still sporting the SAG button because they have actually resumed negotiations today. So as soon as we can get them back to work, we can get some more of the cast on this podcast.
Or we can try. We can try anyway.
No, I have people lined up that have told me to wait till the strike's over. So keep waiting and keep supporting them.
And we have gotten a couple more free followers to our Patreon. So that's pretty cool. People who are just following us for free. And I just noticed that the other day. And so I am going to get on there soon and try to make it more stuff for you guys. And so I'm thinking maybe I can offer like our DOAs and stuff where we're just talking about off-topic things that don't really fit with our, regular podcasts. We talk about a lot of like random life things, or we have one where we talk about fandom, that sort of thing. We can put that on there for free, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that.
What's everybody drinking tonight? Drinking.
I'm drinking some Bodabox Cabernet.
I have Lake James rind lager beer. I made a Mexican ashtray.
Nice.
Yum. Same thing I had last week, I think.
Woohoo.
So Josh, birthdays?
The only birthday I'm going to note right now is our beloved Barbara Bel Geddes would be 101 on Halloween.
Tonight, we're talking about Season 6, Episode 17, Episode 120 of the series, Crash of 83.
I want you to get in closer.
If there's something there, I'll find it.
You'll have to have patience. There are very few things in this world J.R. Ewing cannot afford. But patience is one of them. You give me that refinery.
I like the way you're handling this.
When this is all over, if you'd like to get together.
I hear how you were all hot and bothered waiting for me to come back, so just pucker up and we'll have a little kiss.
It was written by Howard Lakin, directed by Bill Duke, once again, and aired February 4th, 1983. The number one song in the U.S. from last week now moves to be the number one song in the U.K. this week, which is Down Under by Men at Work. The number one song in the U.S. is now Africa by Toto, which is a song like all the kids know and love now. I think it's weird, some of the songs that have made comebacks.
That wasn't my favorite song by them.
No, which one is?
Rosanna.
Oh, yeah, that was good too. It's about Rosanna Arquette.
I thought it was about Rosanna, Dana on Saturday Night. No.
The number one film in the U.S. is Tootsie. I'm just going to warn you, it's number one in the U.S. for the next couple months. So settle in. And just a bunch of deaths today, honestly. Reginald Dedham, an English writer and director, he is of The Obsession, The Bad Seed, etc., died at 89.
The Bad Seed, like the story or the film? Or
the film.
So that's loosely connected to Dallas because Patty McCormick was that role.
Jim Amici, who is an American voice actor of Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy, etc., died at 67. And big one, because I remember this happening, because I just turned 7, so now I have memories of things. Karen Carpenter died. The drummer and singer for Carpenters, with her brother Richard, died at 32 after a long battle with anorexia nervosa. And she is, I just want, like, I think she has one of the best voices in history. Like, I love the Carpenters.
Sing out loud. Sing.
And I have a weird memory. Do you know, like, kids, they connect things that sometimes don't go together because they don't really understand what's happening with the world. I don't. So she died on a Friday, obviously, because it was Dallas was on. But I remember not hearing that she died until the weekend. And I had just watched, it turns out, a rerun of Chips, the TV show. I actually looked up the episode today to see if it was from 1983, but it was from the first season. And it was an episode about a bunch of baby food falling off of a truck and infecting a bunch of baby food with like botulism and stuff.
What?
And so, yeah, it's episode 6, season 1 of Chips. And
how does this baby food actually make it back onto the market? You know what? I know that's a rabbit hole.
I don't know. That's a 1977 plot point. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
find the
I thought Karen Carpenter died from eating baby food because both of those things happened the same day. So.
The terrible irony with that, Mary, is that she would not have died if she had eaten baby food. Isn't that terrible? I know. See, body dysmorphia has been around for a very, very long time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Like that's huge.
It's nothing new.
Yes.
It's very similar to when the last episode of Dallas aired. Somebody became acting president of the United States. We won't say who in that episode.
Oh, right. Yes.
And the very next day, President Bush got sick on rice and sushi in Japan and had to momentarily was not president because his vice president was president while he was.
Is that when he threw up?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't remember it was the day after Dallas aired, though. The last episode.
Because I just associated this person on the show becoming acting president and this thing happening to the president.
Yeah.
It's like I got an air freshener for the car this weekend. It's was a tropical smell. Just to make the car smell nice. So now every time I smell that air freshener, I am going to be thinking it's going to remind me of the weekend with these people. Oh, totally,
because scent is our strongest sense memory.
So now I'm going to constantly be going back to the store to get that very scent to keep in my car.
Yeah, because of good memories. Might as well.
I've heard that I think the opposite of triggers are called glimmers.
Yes, glimmers.
So that is what you are experiencing with those.
Yeah, glimmer.
It's a glimmer. It's something that reminds you of something positive.
And on Dallas,
we had some stuff going on in this episode. But this episode fell from number 3 to number 5. And Ken Kercheval found his leading lady, Audrey Landis, to be extremely conscientious. And she works very hard, and she is too young for him, he says.
I mean, not wrong.
And my character on the show treats her so badly, she just can't win, the poor girl. That's all the notes we have.
Awesome.
So let's go to this aerial shot of the city.
Yes. I'm wondering if they shot that or if it was stock footage.
It almost reminded me of like I've seen it somewhere before, maybe in an earlier episode.
Probably stock footage. Yeah.
Which, if it was done today, they would have used a drone instead of a helicopter.
And it would have been hella cheaper to do that.
Yes, hella cheap.
Hella cheaper.
If drones were around during the first season when they had no budget, then they would have gotten some amazing footage.
Oh my God. I mean, think about like the quality of things that you can shoot on your phone now. It's just.
Oh, yes.
Technology is crazy. Anyway, We go to Hick's office where Bobby is trying to convince him to overturn the variance once again.
Right. Hicks is not having any part of it.
Hicks
is
is
locked
like,
in.
I don't know, JR. I don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. Lie,
Yeah.
lie, lie, lie. And Bobby's like, dude, your nose is growing.
If your
Really?
He's not
nose
even
was-
a good liar.
Yeah.
If your
it's
nose
like,
was growing, it would have put a hole in the wall or broken
Like-
the window.
Bobby's like, bro, come on.
Bruh.
He's basically just like yelling at him, and he's like, I don't know, JR. I've never met the. Did he say I've never met the man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, Bobby
Bobby's
point
like-
blank asked him, like, do you have a reason for giving JR special treatment? And he's like, I've never even met him. And he's like, oh my God.
He's like,
are you
Bobby's
serious?
sitting there
what
like,
you're not gonna do is lie to me right now, Boot, because I saw you.
Together.
Not him.
Own
He
two
doesn't-
eyes.
He doesn't say
when I
that.
came
but
out
he's
of the
like,
Lone
dude,
Star
you lied.
Bank, I saw
lied.
you, bitch. Yeah.
But he still is like,
You'll never get me to change my mind. And Bobby says,
oh,
never
okay,
say never.
Never
Well,
say never.
hold my beer.
Right. It's Bobby, hold my scotch.
Yeah, hold my scotch. I'm about to go fuck some shit up. I gotta go down to the titty bar. I'll be back. Basically,
BRB.
Where the beer gives you gas and Bobby kicks ass
Yeah.
at the titty bar.
that's pretty much.
And then we cut to Russell.
Russell Slater, I learned his name was later in the
Yes,
episode.
Russell Slater. I couldn't remember his last name. Russell Slater is in JR's office, and he's been unable to find a refinery for JR, and he's been looking for like over a month. And JR is not happy.
JR, is this when he finally experiences fuck around and find out? Like, JR has fucked around. Guess what? He's
Oh,
finding
right.
out now. He's like,
Yeah.
I can't do this. I'll lose my company. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow. All
But
the things you didn't think about before.
I don't think he's putting two and two together. I don't think it's even crossing his mind.
No. And then after JR rants, Slater says, but there might be something in Houston.
And
Well,
he's
why
like,
didn't
what
you
the hell?
say
Why
that?
didn't you friggin' say so? Because, like, I'm
you should
sitting
lead
here
with that.
ranting like an idiot, but go on.
Like an idiot.
And then Ellie and Clayton arrive together at South Fork
In a limo. Ooh.
in a limo after their trip. And Sue Ellen runs into them. And then that's a little awkward.
They were doing the nasty in the back of the limo. No.
Well, Sue Ellen standing there watching the two of them interact, like, you could see her face. She's like, something happened.
Yeah, she's like, what's going on?
She's like, what?
What's happening?
The air has shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, Miss Sally and Clayton are all like, and it's like, we're witnessing courtship.
And Clayton is giving her the cold shoulder, the San Angelo freeze.
Yeah. Dusty kind of sort of did the same thing a couple times, didn't he? Like father, like son.
She apologizes and he's like, well, it's just a misunderstanding. And then he turns and walks away.
Yeah, just turn around. He's like, bye. And oof,
But
Clayton's nice hole in the door.
but he and Ellie are going to go out to dinner that night, though.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. She accepts, and she's so cute when she accepts. She's like, well, yeah, that sounds nice.
She had such
Well,
a big smile on her face. She was like,
Why I do believe that they were courting.
So we got to Cliff's new place.
Is this the first time we've had an exterior shot of the?
I believe it is. Yeah.
I think it's so funny. Like, Pam is like during this whole scene at the end, Pam is like, you know who this is? This baby that I'm holding? This is your nephew.
She's
You
so
never met him.
bitter. She's so bitter. She's like, he's like, yeah, it's Christopher. And she's like, how do you know it is? Because you've never seen him in person ever. I'm like, whoa, Pam. Okay.
But
like,
that's
I
a
get it,
but that's a continuity error because they supposedly had met in an earlier episode.
right,
I
'cause
remember
didn't
something.
He come over
He
to
brought-
South Park?
With that big bear.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
so that's a continuity error. So
Pam, take that attitude somewhere else.
right,
Yeah. But it's Pam, the gloves are off with her in this episode.
She's had it. She's had it.
Done.
she's getting those
G-O-N-E.
bulging eyes too.
Yeah.
And Cliff offers to reheat some Chinese food for Christopher, so we have to drink.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
hell, I'm going to need another beer.
Rebecca says she'll stop JR from getting a refinery, and because Jordan had called and said that
Right.
JR is still searching for a refinery, and Rebecca said, well, she'll take care of that if it comes to it.
And Pam is just pissed when they start talking about that because she's basically like, I can't go anywhere without hearing about this drama. You guys.
Right. I'm getting a very eerie feeling. I'm just, I don't know what's.
I don't know. Something.
It's in the air.
Yeah, something.
So what happened to Ray's truck?
He could just be topping off fluids or something.
Well, we all top off our fluids, especially when there's a lot going on in the episode, because we have to.
That's true.
We have a lot to drink.
All the drinking.
I do need to top off my fluids, actually.
Yes.
So Lucy comes to see Ray, and she's like, "Where's Mickey been? He hasn't been around.
He hasn't been around to annoy me. We haven't been able to have our
Bickering, bantering,
pre-courtship, coital bantering that is going to turn into some down and dirty rolls in the hay like I used to do with my uncle."
Like, we used to do, Ray.
Right.
Before I found out you were my uncle, but whatever.
Right. But we're from the South, so that's all good.
It's
down
fine.
here.
It's fine. You're like a half uncle. It's basically a V.C. Andrews novel at this point. It's fine.
Right. It's keeping it within the family. It's within the
something good.
Kinfolk.
Right. And maybe Mickey's just going to be a little, chip off the old block.
But she says that he'll come around. She's like softening her stance to.
Because Ray worries that basically he's a screw up. Don't hang around him. There's not time for him to figure his stuff out. You don't need that. And she's like, don't worry about me. I'm fine.
And a very quick scene, Thornton calls Bobby and says that the drilling is not even started yet. They've been having some trouble with the weather and the ground and blah, blah, blah. So that's just a quick throwaway
Bobby's
scene.
Worried. He's like, we're on a schedule here. And he's like, yeah, I get it. But Canada, weather,
Well, if you bring in JR and all this hot air that he's blowing around, it might melt the ground.
There we go. There's a plan. Yeah. And then South Fork night.
But not all the lights are on.
Not all the lights are on. No.
Just like later in the episode, not all the lights are on again in the next exterior.
It's very dark in there later. Yeah. JR is surprised Ellie isn't back from Galveston. He's like, what does she just live there now? And so Ellen tells him that, oh, no, she's home. And she was there with Clayton Farlow. And JR's like, I'm sorry, what? Clayton Farlow?
What you talking about, Willis?
Mm-hmm. I don't. And he doesn't like the sound of that. He's like, I don't. Why is she hanging out with Clayton?
I got to go upstairs and give her a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
But she can't, JR, because actually she's had a dinner with Clayton Farlow.
And she's like, I don't know. There's just a warmth between them. And JR's just not pleased.
If it was a cartoon, you'd see the smoke shooting out of his ears.
Definitely. Most definitely.
And his nostrils breathing fire. But Sue Ellen was actually saying that they're both lonely and it really shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it should be.
Well, that just tears the rag off the bush, doesn't it now?
Rag off the bush. All right. Yeah, that's a visual. And strip club. Wendy's updating Bobby on the situation.
Sweet little Wendy.
Sweet little Wendy, who totally has Jenna Wade vibes. I think it's on purpose. I do. I think it's on purpose. Mostly because of next season. But because she definitely has Morgan Fairchild, Jenna Wade vibes. Swear to God. And Bobby is totally attracted to her. So Bobby explains that he needs to get something on Hicks that the private investigator didn't. And she says, if it's there, she'll find it.
She's like, I got you, boo.
And she checks them out as she walks away. She checks out Bobby. She's like,
He tells her to get close to Hicks. Get a little closer.
She's going to wear Arid Extra Dry.
Closer to you.
So Mickey's working in the barn when Lucy pulls up to see him.
He is shoveling that hay.
He is.
He's preparing a love bed for the two of them so they can roll in the hay together.
But he's crabby. He's super crabby when
he's in a mood.
Because he's got a tune and he's in a mood.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, I think I might have got you in trouble. And I feel bad about that. And so if you want me to go talk to Ray, whatever, I'll totally do it because you shouldn't get in trouble for something that is totally my fault.
And Mickey's like, isn't this where he's like, no, leave it alone.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna leave anyway. Like, I'm done with this.
Doesn't
place.
concern you. Just stay out of it.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm sorry. So you're just giving up? You're someone who gives up really easily? And then he's super defensive and he's like, well, it shouldn't even matter to you. And she's like, yeah, it shouldn't, but
But it does. It's like, I didn't want to start caring about you, but here we are. So
exactly. Here we are.
Mm-hmm. I wish I didn't.
For once, it's someone that's not way older than her.
I know. It's so weird.
But he does have his own version of a beamskin rug. So she's probably attracted to the beamskin rug.
Probably. She likes a hairy chest. So Wendy now gives Bobby the update on Hicks. Yeah, and she's like, dude is totally into cocaine.
She's like, yeah, he likes to put the shit up his nose. It's all over his house. Mm-hmm. You won't have a problem finding it.
Bobby's like, perfect.
Jackpot.
Mm-hmm. And then she's like, would you like to get together when this is all over? You and me? And then Bobby just sighs and is like,
it's just
you're
business.
Very beautiful, but this is strictly business.
Strictly biznatch.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Biznatch.
Biznatch.
Well, and that's like the thing.
Because he doesn't want her snatch. He's got his own.
If it was JR, totally different. So I'm sure like people just assume, Ewing.
Right. I mean, that's why Holly thought that.
Mm-hmm.
So he unintentionally puts off a vibe that these women are thinking that because of the last name Ewing, we must be able to roll in the hay together, have some extracurricular.
And also, like, I feel like they do have a little connection, she and Bobby. Like, he picked her. Mm-hmm. So he thinks that she's hot.
Like you said, the Jenna Wade vibe.
Jenna Wade vibe.
If I were still in my booze, broads, and booty days, I'd take a piece of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy is that, like, I've noticed in fandoms, and I wonder, if anybody was ever able to ask the writers of Dallas back then about any of this stuff, is that there's a lot of nuance and a lot of implied stuff and a lot of hints dropped in storylines and plots on like TV shows that I think it's weird. It's kind of like I've heard some of the writers on some of my favorite shows before talk about how they like leave crumbs behind, and like the fandom like either picks up on it or they don't. And the ones that don't are like constant. I don't know. This is like more of a modern thing, but like constantly disappointed and they're not understanding and stuff. And then the other part of the fandom is like, what are you talking about? It's been there the whole time. You just weren't looking at it hard enough.
I'm curious because I feel like fandom was totally different.
Yeah.
Back in '83 than it is now, like since the internet.
You didn't have the Qu'est-ce que c'est internet.
Right. And I feel like unless it was something like Dark Shadows or Star Trek where there were actually conventions and stuff like that, you just had people who kind of watched it at a really surface level and probably didn't have these conversations about a show like that.
Get a life, people. It was just a job.
I'm sure they did, but it was on such a smaller scale because there was no way to connect everybody.
Right.
It was like, I'm sure groups of friends, like kind of like a book club.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Water cooler conversations.
Water cooler conversation, right? But it wasn't like it is now.
You people that come to these conventions,
But I just
get a life. Have you ever kissed a girl? I mean, come on, people. It was just a job. Thank you, William Shatner.
Quoting Saturday Night Live.
Because I wondered about that stuff, like comparing Dallas to like some modern TV shows and seeing like some of the modern fandoms online. I'm like, were we having these conversations 40 years ago? About nuance and implied like references?
Probably not. It's mostly the scale we are now.
It was more superficial of, are Bobby and Pam going to split up? Are Bobby and Pam going to stay together? It was just more of that surface. They didn't get down into the detail. Because, of course, back then, they didn't make these episodes thinking 45 years later people would still be watching. And
right, as we've seen.
Well, reruns were a thing. There were always going to be reruns.
Oh, it's going to be reruns, and they knew and by this point they're in syndication because there's over 100 episodes, so they knew there's that. But
they didn't think it would last as long.
I mean, they thought people would watch random episodes when it was into syndicate. I mean, they could not have foresaw what this is now.
Right, because there are other shows that were out back in those days, and You don't see some of them on reruns now, although Moonlighting just turned up on Hulu. Finally.
Yes, it just came on Hulu, and I haven't started watching the episodes yet, but I heard that that they have the music, and in fact they have included one song that was not included on the DVD release because there were some rights issues when the DVDs came out.
Oh.
So.
And poor Bruce Willis is incommunicative at this point. So
my friend Scott wrote a book about moonlighting that came out a couple years ago. He interviewed Sybil Shepherd and a bunch of other people that worked on the writers and stuff for the show, and he was supposed to interview Bruce Willis, and it kept getting put off. And he ended up getting like mad. He's like, well, I guess it's not going to happen. But my guess is this stuff was going on and they weren't sure if he should have interviews at that point.
What did I miss? What's going on with Bruce Willis?
Oh, he has like dementia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
He's retired. He can't communicate.
He can't, like, he literally like doesn't know who people are.
Oh my God. So he's almost got full blown Alzheimer's now.
So I think it seems fast, so it probably is Alzheimer's.
It's frontal temporal lobe.
It starts as dementia usually, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and he's young, so young-ish. So that's pretty fast, aggressive. That's aggressive.
And in my experience, I don't know if this is scientific or not, but it seems like the men that I've known who've gotten Alzheimer's, stuff like that, it goes way faster than the women.
Well, the country was run by someone that practically had Alzheimer's for 8 years.
I know within a decade, it's possible for somebody to go from totally like functional to dead.
And what happens is the body forgets how to function. That's what's
right. And that happens more in men. Mm-hmm. And someone can, if I'm wrong about any of this, someone can correct me. But I read this that a lot of times for women, it does more of the like memory part of the brain. Mm-hmm. So they just starts with like.
And men are like the ones with the impulse control.
Right. And for men, it's like, I'm going to shut down the part of your brain that, runs your kidneys,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And your body
is off.
And your body is going to forget how to operate. And that's what's going to kill you.
Sundowning, like after dark, is even worse.
Yeah.
Well,
that's my uncle, because my grandma had it. My uncle had it. Runs in the family. I imagine that's my future. Yay!
I do not recall at this time.
I actually told my kids, like, if I get to that point, because with my grandma, she just kept thinking she was younger and younger and stuff. Like, there was a point when I was in high school and she thought I was her friend from school, and then she was like playing hide and seek and stuff. So I was like, just sit me in front of a TV and play Dallas, because I will think, if I think I'm 8, that's all I'm gonna want to do. And I'm going to think it's amazing. So just do that. I'll be fine.
And it will be like you're watching it for the first time.
It will. I'll be like, I can watch the next episode? What?
Ooh. What happened on the last episode?
Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah.
Who was that character?
Okay, where are we?
John Ross is in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the background playing.
Yeah. Well, Ellie tells Sue Ellen about her trip.
And she has come to a decision that she is going to stay out of the battle.
She's leaving the battlefield, as it were.
Yes. Now, Sue Ellen is wondering why she went to Clayton and not Frank Crutcher.
That's a good point.
But Frank is all the way in New York, and she happened to run into Clayton in Galveston.
Right. She's like, I didn't mean to. Like, we just end up being at the same place at the same time. And besides, like, Frank Crutcher, like,
Clayton's a very special man. Clayton went a courting, and he did go.
She says he has a sweetness about him.
Sweet like a lollipop.
And I feel like, and she says, and I feel like you should understand that. And she seems a little jealous to me.
Yeah. But Sue Ellen, you have this wonderful marriage now.
Right. Yeah,
so you shouldn't be concerned. And Donna arrives at Bobby's office looking like she's auditioning to be part of Prince's background singers with all the purple. Yes. Because Donna is leading the glamorous life with the Texas Energy Commission. Now, she says to Bobby that if she can get Figueroa or Hicks to flip, then the other guy, whose name I did not catch at the beginning of the scene.
I didn't catch it either. Okay, good.
And he would flip too, and JR's variance would be done. And Bobby says he's actually working on that problem. But I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing because you would be disgusted by me.
Yeah, I wonder what Donna would think, because I feel like Donna is a little more realistic. Like, Donna is also really, like, idealistic, but not as much as Pam, I don't think.
But JR getting a taste of his own medicine, so that might...
Right,
that might,
like, we're bringing down JR. Cool, I'm in.
Yes.
So JR and Sue Ellen are out to lunch, and he's telling her all about the people who want him to run for public office. When everybody's best friend, Gil Trashcan Thurman, walks in.
Oh, God.
The man who played Alec Baldwin's father on Knots Landing.
This guy.
This
Motherfucker.
This piece of shit.
This dick.
But Sue Ellen's on our side, and she's not having any of it, and she's like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be in the powder room. I'll be back when he's gone.
Do people really powder in that room?
I mean, I think that's a way for ladies to say they're going to, because they would powder their nose, go to powder their nose. I mean, that's where it came from.
Well, if your nose is where I think it is, that's a problem.
Well, she said I would be in the ladies' room.
That's right.
He said something about the powder room.
Right.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, she likes the powder room more than she likes me. And JR's like, well, don't we all?
Right. Like,
because you are...
I can smell the filth coming off you
like,
the door.
You are worse than the toilet, bro.
You make J.R. Ewing seem like a great human. And that's a problem.
He's like, look, no hard feelings, bro, but you don't know how to close a deal.
You have more microbes on you, Gil Thurman, than human facial hair, which has more of it in a toilet.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So he does seem to like to show it off to everyone.
It's weird. Oh, he's so skeevy. And even, what's weird? Even JR is like, you're kind of gross, man.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to humor you anyway. So Afton was talking about you.
Right.
And he's like, what?
He finds out first that Cliff only got the deal because of
Afton.
Afton.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
like, JR immediately latches onto an opportunity.
He's like, let's cause more chaos.
Which is going to have serious repercussions down the line.
Why don't you go, JR's subliminally, why don't you go pay her a visit? She's talking about you.
I heard she's really into you, buddy.
And, I'm going to table this thought until we get to that scene.
Right. So, and this JR opening his mouth, that's going to set off a series of repercussions down the line.
He did it with Mark Grayson.
Domino effect.
Now he's doing it with...
Pornstash.
He did it with Pornstash. He is now doing it with Gil Thurman. There are consequences. This is the domino effect.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And this is going to have serious consequences, I think. I get that. I'm getting this weird feeling.
And I feel like Sue Ellen is just standing at the door waiting for him to get up and walk away, because as soon as he gets up, she starts walking back to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised
she sits down and she's like, ugh.
And then he molests her with his eyes. It's just I needed to take a shower after just watching it.
Gross.
He's so gross.
I'm surprised that they didn't ask the waitress to come over and take that chair away and burn it.
Right.
That Gil was sitting in.
I mean, his smirk is so God.
I know.
It's like you want to slap it off his face.
Yeah.
Yes,
you do.
You really do.
You know what he is? He's those tar pits in Los Angeles, just black oozing slime.
Gross.
I mean, I think that's even too good for him at this point.
Right. And then JR has the audacity to say to Sue Ellen that, you shouldn't give him such a hard time. I'm like, fucking gross, JR.
Dude,
fucking gross.
You used her as bait. Shut the fuck up.
Hey.
Now, we know how handsy and how pushy this guy can be. What if he had come home a little bit later?
Right. I mean, he came home as it was, and it wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good then. And he had a non-reaction.
Right.
Compared to stuff that's going to happen in the future.
Right.
It's kind of like he expected it.
Of course he did.
Garbage. Where's your bell? Ding, ding. Yes, there we go.
Trash bell.
Motherfucker.
Pluthermucker. Yeah. So Wendy's
Viewing
going to
oil.
be meeting the Hicks tonight, and Bobby tells her the plan is a go. Bing,
Says,
bing.
do it. And then Lucy comes to see Ray again, and she's wearing the pink hat again.
Is this the same? It's not the same day, is it?
I don't think it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the same day, but I feel like she's wearing the same clothes.
Or did she just change her pants? I don't know. Does she have black
I don't know.
pants
She's
on
definitely wearing the same hat, though.
The top looked pink too.
Right? Yeah.
Did they just
I
shoot
don't
all
know.
these scenes at once?
I think that there was some continuity things here. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they just had her and they just figured we'll bang these scenes out all together.
No one's gonna notice. It'll be fine.
And no one's going to be talking
This is
about
fine.
it. 40,
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. No one will notice.
no one's going to be
Nothing
talking
to
about it
see
40
here.
years later.
Absolutely not.
So she tells him, "Hey, it's my fault that Mickey didn't deliver the vaccine."
Well, why the hell didn't he tell me that? God damn it!
It's like, there's a reason, dude. I don't know. Mickey's like not a bad kid, but everybody has painted him to be one. And then like, remember, like all the stuff that was going on in Kansas, he got into some trouble. He was working and like didn't want anybody to know.
And he seems like the kind of guy like that once someone has an idea of it, like he's not going to bother trying to change
He's
their
like,
mind.
"Yeah, okay,
he's like,
fine."
cool, you think I fucked up? Fine, cool. Great.
That's
Think what
crazy.
you're going to.
Everybody thought he was lazy when he was trying to pay off debt so he could, you know what I bet it was? He got into trouble. His mother didn't know. The cops told him, you can't leave town until you make restitution. That's why he was working.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Ray worked out a deal, got his like parole extended in Texas, whatever, and was like, well, we'll give you money. Just let us take him. And now he's down there and he's feeling like, okay, I pretty much worked off my debt. You know, what else is out there for me? Because I'm a cowboy. I'm a dumb cowboy. And
I'm just a dumb cowboy.
I'm just a dumb
I'm a
cowboy.
dumb cowboy.
Well, and Mickey's like, you know, I want to do other things.
Yeah.
He's
make
like,
more than
I
this.
paid my debt to society. Damn it.
Right.
I want to go explore the world. Do something.
But he's
else.
kind of like, yeah, well, why didn't you tell me? Well, a man's got his pride, right?
Oh, right.
Mhm.
And then Ray looks at Lucy and he's like, you like him, don't you? And she's like, your cousin's okay.
It's not my
Yeah.
type, but
Yeah, because he's not 10 years older than her.
Yeah,
Right.
the minute a woman starts defending a man or making excuses for him, you know she likes him.
Unfortunately. God damn it. Why do we do that?
I'm not going to say how I know that.
she wants to ride the wild
I don't know.
ride.
We do that because these beings give us just a little tiny bit of serotonin.
Right? Yeah. Just like
a little
dopamine hits. You're like, all right. Uh-huh.
And then that just, I don't know, it turns you stupid.
It does turn you stupid.
It turns you stupid.
Oh my
Well, he tells her to just steer clear of him because
Oh, he's trouble.
Right. She's
Yeah,
like,
what-
I can handle myself. It's
don't
fine.
worry about me.
What's that going to do? Like, what's Lucy going to do? Like, if you tell Lucy not to do something, she's going to be like, I'm going to do it even harder. Like,
Right.
Johnny, don't touch the hot stove. Ow, I burned myself.
basically, Lucy, leave Mickey alone. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Sure.
Hey, Lucy, why don't we fix you up with Mickey? No, I don't want him. I'm going to go the other way then. Bye.
I think if they were pushing it, if they were pushing Mickey on her, she wouldn't
Oh,
be
yeah,
interested at all.
Not at all. Yeah, no.
But they won't push Mickey on her. Bad news.
Which makes her now interested.
Yes. And JR is interested
boys.
when Russell Slater says that they have the refinery if he can be there and Russell's going to be on a 3 p.m. flight to Houston to seal the deal before the cartel finds out the next day.
Yep. Good, because we have to do it before they find out.
Right. 'Cause that's a small town.
It is. It is. And then JR gets a call from Walt Driscoll in the Cayman Islands.
And JR is like, excuse you, why are you calling me?
Right.
What
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah, we're like not supposed to talk anymore. Remember?
J-
Like, no,
Yeah,
this line could be tapped. Like,
But JR,
I'm paranoid.
I've got a deal for you that I need to talk about too when I come into Dallas. Oh, hell no. You want to come in? You can't come to Dallas. I mean, what the? No, just just hear me out. Just hear me out. We'll meet when I get there.
And he's like, he gets his interest because he's like, there's millions of dollars in a really quick turnaround profit. Jared's like,
Ooh,
okay, I'm listening, but we'll have to meet like off the beaten path.
literally.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, but like we got to go out in this cow pasture down by where like there's a fence and just out in the middle of nowhere because nobody's gonna see us down here.
Nope.
But
Because you can't see for far distances from there.
But you know something? Birds don't exist. They're little spy cameras by the government. So the birds are
Mockingjays.
spying.
Yep.
Mocking
Birds aren't real. So Clayton gives Ellie a gift of a little glass bird to remind her of their good time together.
Now
Elvis.
she's not going to be throwing this against the fireplace. I don't think.
I don't think so. I hope not. Well, at least not for a couple seasons.
No, because if it was in that general vicinity, some glass might shatter over towards Jock's portrait.
Well, you know what's interesting here
Portrait.
is that she accepts the gift and she's like, okay, so I don't want to get the wrong idea here, but aren't you seeing Rebecca?
Right.
And he was like, no, it's not like that.
She's like,
She's like, okay.
and it's like, and my question is, does Rebecca know that? Does Rebecca know that?
Situationships.
Right. Right.
Because she certainly
love
did
them.
not know that when she saw them in the restaurant.
Right.
And then Clayton, the next day or the next time, why didn't you come over? I mean, you could have come over. We were just friends
Right.
out.
Yeah. You're like, what? You should have come. Like,
We could have had
Clayton's just kind of an idiot about this.
We could have had a threesome.
he's a
I mean,
man.
come on.
He's like a hot older dude, rich. Like, look, he doesn't get like, yeah, you're not just hanging with these ladies. Like,
I mean, I'm sorry if I walked in somewhere and I saw somebody that even as a friend or even that I like just a little bit sitting there with another woman, I don't care what their relationship is. My mind is automatically going to go, oh, they're fucking.
right.
or something like that. You know?
Definitely. Yeah.
And he doesn't have a porn stash. He has a distinguished stash.
Oh, yeah. He has a very distinguished stash that Howard.
And, and they're all three of them are widows now.
A moustache.
All three of them are widowed. And I thought for a little while there might be some kind of like little triangle going on between them.
Oh,
And I'm like, what? Were y'all not in the same situation like 40 years ago?
Right? I
30
guess
30 years ago?
Rebecca and Ellie just kind of have a similar taste in men.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had a three-way. I mean, it's a thing. They could have had a threesome.
But they didn't,
No.
to my knowledge.
No. He does drop a little bit of a bomb, though. He has sold the Southern Cross.
Right. And she's shocked.
Like, what? Where will you go?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why?
I will come here and court you, my dear.
Basically.
And he's like, you should come down and then take a look around the place for one last time.
No, I don't. I'll have to think about that.
She's like, oh, you're asking me to come to your house alone as some sort of nostalgia trip. What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's like, oh.
She's got the good.
She's interested, though. And then we cut to JR being interviewed on that show that I can't remember the name of again.
Roy Ralston's show.
Yeah.
Roy Ralston's show.
And he's basically asked point blank if he'll run for office.
And then he's, doing his deflection. And
Well,
is
not
asked
saying no.
about the Ewing connection to Dave Culver. And it's very distant. And,
It's very distant.
and he can be replaced.
Meanwhile, Ray and Donna are actually watching that interview on TV.
And you know what? The line that gets everybody is, well, I'd have to weigh the good that I do at the gas pump versus the good that I can do as a political representative.
Right. And Ray's like pissed. He's like, if I didn't know him, I would totally believe him. This is super scary. Donna's like, yeah, there's a total chance he could ride this all the way to Washington. He's really good at bullshitting.
Donna said something that made me go, fuck. I can't remember exactly what the line was, but
She's very concerned, but
she said a lot of people are one issue voters.
it was right after that. She said something about, she said one issue voters It was something about putting somebody like him in power. I can't remember the exact line, but I was just like,
I actually captured this scene, and I'm going to upload it.
But she is literally very concerned about the ramifications of that. Yes.
Fortune telling.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know how the Simpsons predicted the future? Well,
right.
Hello, so did Dallas.
Because she said someone like J.R. Ewing.
Yes, that was it. Someone like J.R. Ewing and coming into power.
Like, oh, shit.
And I was like, oh, fuck.
Ooh, it's like taking candy from a baby.
So they're going to invite, she wants to invite Dave down there so they can make a plan to stop JR before it gets out of hand.
That variance needs to be taken away so that he will fall off the front page of the paper, and he'll be yesterday's news.
Yes.
He'll be secondhand news, as Fleetwood Mac says.
So we got to Cliff's house. Cliff and Rebecca are having dinner.
And again, the topic du jour is JR in the refinery and how Mike Hughes...
So the cartel has already found out because it's a small town.
Yes. As I was born in a small town. I can breathe in a small town. Yeah.
And this Mike Hughes guy, like, he's selling it because, like, he needs to sell it. Like, he's in a bad situation, needs the money, so he needs to sell it.
Right. And Rebecca's like, well, I'll just, take care of this.
Right. She's like, I know him, and he would not want to cross me. And I'm going to tell him he shouldn't do it.
Right. But, Cliff, you may need to go down to Houston to seal the deal and take this letter with all this stuff.
She's going to write a letter and have Cliff take it.
So she calls, and Mike Hughes is not there, so he'll be back tomorrow. So time is of the essence. Yep. Time keeps on slipping to the
And they
future.
toast to keeping JR from that refinery.
Yes. So now let's go back to Hicks's office. Bobby, I don't know what you're doing here again, Mr. Yu. I don't know. No, I made my position clear. I am not changing my vote.
And he's just like mad and like he just doesn't want to talk about it anymore. He's mad, but he's also like laughing at Bobby. He's like, nothing's going to change my vote. I don't know why you keep coming back. Like, nothing's going to change. So leave.
Well, why don't you take a look at what's in this envelope and see if you still are singing the same tune.
And it's an envelope full of Polaroids.
Do people remember Polaroids from back in the day?
They're back.
What?
Yeah, I have a couple Polaroid cameras. Well, Instax, a different brand, but even Polaroid has come back with Polaroid pictures.
Like the full-size ones with the white borders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow! I
love Polaroid cameras.
And you had to shake it.
Well, you don't have to, but you do anyway, even though you don't have to.
You do because you're excited, and it's the
you're like, come on!
It's the anticipation.
Yeah, which I'm seeing that next weekend. Oh. My niece is playing Janet.
I'm playing Frankenfurter for Halloween. No.
Yeah, so he throws it, and then Hicks just smartly denies it. He's like, that's not cocaine. That's powdered sugar.
That's powdered sugar.
And he has a point. Well, he's like, how are you going to prove that that's cocaine? Like, I just have, because honestly, like, who has that much cocaine even in the 80s? What the hell?
Nuts. What did Bobby say? How many bags he had hidden all over the house?
I know. He's like, well, how do you know? Like, because he's like, I could just go home now and get rid of it, and then you have no proof. So, like, what are you even thinking?
Bobby's he's like, I don't know. Did you find them all?
Did you find them all?
You sure you're?
Including the ones that Wendy hid in secret locations?
I feel like, one, Bobby could have done something a little bit more than just because he honestly could just go home and get rid of it. There's nothing Bobby could actually do. But he threatens them, and he's just like, I'll get the cops over there. And then, is it worth 3 years in jail? Which, is that all you'd get for that much cocaine? 3 years in jail? Well, I guess he's a rich.
With that much cocaine, you could be charged with intent to distribute. I mean.
Right. That's a lot of cocaine. So much cocaine.
Yeah.
So he thinks Bobby's bluffing, and then Bobby's like, try me.
Okay.
Try me.
Yeah, he's like, okay. But Bobby's basically like, I have you between a rock and a hard place. What are you going to do?
I got you by the Co-Jones.
So then Bobby turns around to leave, and then he says, you're just as dirty as your brother, JR. And then Bobby looks at him like hurt. Like, Bobby.
Dagger to the heart.
He's like pretending he isn't enjoying this, and he's so enjoying this. He is.
Right. So Mike Hughes calls JR to express his doubts.
Yes, why? Brings up Rebecca.
Yeah. I think he's leaning towards JR by the end because JR says he never forgets a friend.
It sounds like they made like a verbal agreement on the phone.
Yes. Which used to be done in the old days. Verbal agreements and handshakes.
And then Rebecca is visiting Ellie and Pam at South Fork, but she has to get going because she has to pick Cliff up to go to the airport. Like she could have just said like, I'm taking Cliff to the airport, but she's like, I'm taking Cliff to the airport to stop JR from getting this refinery.
Right. Well, she has to throw that out there because I think it leads to them learning how Ellie is staying out of it.
Because she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't bring it up. And Ellie's like, don't worry about it. I don't want to hear about it from you, but I don't really care. I'm staying out of it as much as possible.
I'm Switzerland.
Oh, she says she just wants to ignore the whole thing and get on with her life as much as possible. And then she just kind of like says, goodbye to Rebecca. Pieces out. Pam says, I am not Ellie. And fuck all this. Fuck all this shit.
Crazy eyes.
She has like tears in her eyes. And she's like, I can't look the other way. Like, this is awful. And like, someone's going to get hurt. And then I feel like you can just hear it repeating.
How many times has she said that now?
The exact same thing.
2 or 3. Yeah. It's like, it's in our face now.
Yeah.
I'm getting a feeling of foreboding. I don't know what's going on.
Right. And Rebecca just looks at her like, oh, Pam. Okay.
Okay, we're catastrophizing again. Okay.
Let's get to the most disgusting scene of the episode here.
Gross Gil Trashcan Thurman shows up at Clifton Afton's apartment.
Of course, he hadn't seen them since Cliff had the old apartment. So
how does he know where they live? Yeah.
How the hell does he know where they live? I mean, he's a public person in a company with a high experience. He's not going to put his address in the phone book.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's something for the younger people out there. A phone book is something that used to be a list of phone numbers alphabetically by name that you could look somebody up instead of going on Google and your phone and just punching in something.
When I lived in Washington, they still gave us a phone book every year.
Wow.
And like, I'd be like, why are you wasting this paper?
Like totally. So, ew, gross. I'm feeling dirty.
Yeah. So Afton opens the door and he like immediately starts to attack her.
Right. Cliff could get him home at any minute. I mean, he is really taking a chance here.
And she's literally backing up like she's afraid.
But this is also example number however many of the power differential.
Right.
The power differential, as we explained last week, is a form of rape. Or can be a form of rape or intimidation, grooming, all that stuff.
The Holly Harwood.
She's trying to de-escalate the situation. You can see her like, oh, he's going to be home. Like, you don't want to blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And right on cue, the door opens.
Right. And then I feel like Afton's even more upset because she's like, oh, fuck, it's all going to come out now. Mm-hmm. Cliff is like, what are you doing?
He's like, I'm going for another ride on the roller coaster. And Afton's like, oh my God. And Cliff's like,
gross.
Cliff sees red and he screams for the first time that we've ever heard him raise his voice.
And he also says, our little Afton. I'm like, she's not your little Afton.
Skeevy, gross, skeevy.
And he throws his ass out of there.
So as if Cliff if he didn't pick it up already, because Cliff's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he's like, let me make it totally clear. You know, that time where like she slept with me to get the deal because that was my price. And like Cliff is upset by that, but I feel like he's almost more upset that he didn't do it himself. And he thought he did. And
the fact that Afton lied to him when she said that. So he throws Thurman out, thankfully. I would sterilize the apartment now.
I'm glad he left so easily, honestly.
No,
That
you
could've been
don't just
scary.
need to sterilize. You need to like burn some sage in there. You need to have a blessing, an exorcism.
An exorcism. Full on exorcism.
All of that. Yeah. Just bring in the demonologist right now. 1, 2, 3. The power of Christ compels you. Be done. Because, ew.
Thurman is gone, and Cliff blows the roof off the place and calls,
Holy shit.
"You're not my girlfriend, you're my whore," or something.
No, he says the opposite. I thought you were my girlfriend, not my whore.
Yeah, I thought you were my girlfriend, not my whore.
And
I think the thing that sucks the most about all of this is that Afton felt threatened, and like it's a very, I hate to say it, it's a gray area of sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not necessarily forced, but it is like there's no way out of this. Like I'm gonna have to.
she did not do it for herself
She
or
didn't do
any
it for
sort
herself.
of gratification for herself at all. She did it 100% for him.
Yeah, because this guy was probably like, he'll never work again if you don't do this. He won't have this. He won't have that.
He had just tried to like kill himself.
Yeah,
she was trying to save his life. Like
that's what he's not understanding right now.
He's
I
mad.
get it. Of course, yeah,
I get it, but at the same time, like this is a mess up situation.
It really is, and I think of that situation in like, I don't know. I've seen other shows where that's come up. You know, women like feel like they have to sleep with these men as payment for something or returning favors because they get guilted into it.
Right, because
or threatened in some way, like not physically, but you know, like, oh, I can ruin your life. You know, I can ruin his life. I can ruin, you know, do you love your children? Do you love so-and-so? That's how it happens.
Because women are taught that their bodies can be used for commerce very young.
Mm-hmm. And it's sick.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Mm-mm.
And it's generations of history that have to be broken.
Oh, yeah. All these things that get passed.
Now, Cliff storms out. And while Cliff storms out, Walt Driscoll arrives meets JR in some cow pasture. How did you predict that? How did Melanie predict that they would meet in a cow pasture?
Totally off the beaten path.
Can't tell you.
Are you a psycho? I mean, psychic?
Yes.
A little of both?
Yes.
Yes. Here's Walt's plan. They can make millions of dollars on this oil if they send it to an embargoed country. And he'll doctor the paperwork so it looks like it's going to another country.
Okay, so just me because I don't trust this guy as far as I could throw him. He seems like he's nervous.
Why are you telling JR to break the law?
Right, like he's
This is
been
weird.
rehearsing this for like ever. Like it just seems super sus. And JR is looking at him like, I don't know, buddy.
It's like, I paid you to get your ass out of town. What are you doing here coming to me with this bullshit?
Right, yeah.
And Walt drops the line that he learned a lot about honesty from JR.
And so JR's also asking some like follow-up questions. He's like, well, if they want the oil, here's way easier ways they could get it. He says they could get it pretty cheap, a good price right now from the Arabs.
Arabs.
Oh my God.
Did you write down Arabs too? Like A-Rabs?
I did. I mean, oh my God. Is he George Bush? Oh my God.
Yeah, spoken like a true, never mind.
Puke looking.
Then JR he's very diplomatic. He's just like staring him down. He's like, you know what? I appreciate you coming to me with this, but I don't need this kind of deal right now.
Hard pass.
But maybe another time.
Hard pass for now.
Hard pass. Right.
He's going to have that refinery anyway from Mike Hughes because they had a verbal agreement. So he doesn't need to unload that oil.
I feel like he's also not like saying, get out of my face. He's just like, I don't think I need this right now.
He's taking that card and he's putting it in his back pocket.
Right.
For a possible revisitation later. Mm-hmm. Save it for a rainy day. Now, Cliff, are you home? It's Mama. Cliff, we got to leave. Cliff, where are you?
Yep. Rebecca comes in to pick up Cliff, and all she sees is Afton crying.
Like there's no tomorrow.
And she's like, is Cliff here? And she's like, oh, no, he's gone. She's like, well, where is he? And she's like, I don't know, at the bar? We had a huge fight.
Maybe he went to the airport. Maybe I'll call. Like she just calls the airport. Like
oh, it's her own private. It's a private Wentworth jet, though.
Oh, she
So
calls the
she's-
private jet.
Yeah.
It sounds like she was calling the airport, and I'm like,
No, it's a Whitworth jet. So it's her own like private thing because she's super rich.
is my son there?
And he's not.
No.
And then she just kind of looks at Afton and she's like, you know, like, I know it's hard with him, but she's like, don't give up on him. And then she walks out.
Wise words, because you want to give sage advice because you never know when it's the last time you might see somebody.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lights,
So we got to South Fork.
only 4 lights are on, not the whole house.
I know, it's really dark. Bobby walks into a dark living room.
Right. And he pours himself a drink.
Yeah. He
feels-
looks all dejected. And he's like silently pondering at Jack's portrait.
Portrait or portrait? And then we cut back to Cliff's condo.
Ring, ring. Phone wakes up.
Cliff, is that you?
Nope.
So she answers it, and it's obviously bad news. But
Oh my God.
Because
You
she
don't get to
slams
know
the
what it
phone
is.
down. Sounds,
she
oh my
yeah,
God.
she says, "Who is this? Oh my God," and runs out.
And runs out of the house. So whoever it is, I'm assuming she's going to find them and tell them in person.
Whatever was
Whatever the
dictated
news
over the
is.
phone.
Yeah.
Back to Bobby is still in there drinking.
Yeah, and then he walks upstairs like Eeyore into the bedroom, and he's hi Pam, and
He
Pam's
sits down
just
in
like,
the chair and she's like, yes.
she's already fucking pissed.
Yeah,
She's had a shit day.
She's
done
judging him from afar.
already,
And
Yeah.
he's coming in being Eeyore. He really is.
Oh, Pam.
and she's like, "You look terrible."
Oh,
And
so
then
I do.
basically he confesses everything that he did. He's like, I did this and this and this, and like I
feel
did
like
stuff.
shit about it, basically.
Yeah, I feel like shit.
Well,
but
if
I
you
did
want
it.
sympathy from me, you're not getting it.
And she's like, sounds like you fucked around and found out, dude. Except she says it a lot angrier than that.
Yeah, she's
got
and
wild
he's
eyes.
like, he's like, I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just basically like telling you what I'm confessing what I did. And she's just like, yes, you are. You're looking for my sympathy and just tell you everything's fine, but it's not. It's not, Bobby.
You know where you'll find it, Bobby? Between shit and syphilis in the dictionary.
And she's like, because the Bobby, you are not the Bobby I married. The Bobby I married would rather be dead, which, ouch, than take his mother to court and blackmail someone and do all this stuff.
Blah, 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 blah.
And she's like, and there's only one. And then he's like, yeah, but there are like reasons I did that. And she's like, there's only one reason. And that's just so you could beat JR. And it's like, yeah, Pam, that's the whole point of all of this. He said that multiple times that it's really important to him that he do that. So
And as they are saying this, a car is pulling onto the South Fork soundstage in the driveway. The soundstage, mind you, because we don't see him drive up the drive.
oh, yeah, it's definitely the soundstage. And then it's Afton. And Afton goes to the door. Teresa answers.
I have to see Pam quickly. It's an emergency. Please, please, please. Go get
comes in.
Pam. Get Pam.
I'm guessing it's like 11 at night. Like it's pretty late. And JR sees her and he's like amused. He's like, Afton? Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
You want to roll in my bed again for old time's sake? No.
And she's just like, I can't deal with you. She's like ignoring him. Ellie walks in, like the whole house is coming in. They're like, what's happening?
Who's here at this hour? Who
Yeah.
can that be? I'm surprised she wasn't in a friggin' nightgown or something. Everyone getting out of bed with curlers in their hair and
Right. And then Bobby and Pam walk downstairs.
The sleep mask over their eyes. But where's Sue Ellen?
Totally. That's a good point. Where was Sue Ellen?
Swelling.
Swelling. She's probably already asleep.
That's right. In her
so then-
silk nightgown. Yeah.
Afton tells her, like, she's like, something bad happened. And like, I want to tell you in person. And Bobby's like, spit it out. Just tell us.
I can't play your guessing games. Come on, out with it. Out with it, woman.
So then, yeah, the Wentworth jet crashed.
Oh my God,
And then-
Cliff.
Cliff? No. It's your mother, Pam. And then
My mother?
Shit.
freeze frame. My mother on Pam.
Freeze frame.
because
And
it's
scene. And this is a scene that literally pivots the entire season.
I feel like the series kind of in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the season for sure. And
At
it
the
is
very
kind of
least,
like
the
right in the
season
middle of
is.
the season too.
Yes.
You know, did you guys notice, like, spoiler, I guess, maybe, not really, but how the significant shit that alters the future always fucking starts with Pam?
Huh. I have never thought about that before.
I mean, you'd think it would be JR, but
Right.
every
it's not.
shift starts with Pam. Somehow.
Huh. That's a good point. Boom.
The outside force that married into the Ewing family.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Because remember when the series started, they were the main characters, and JR and Sue Ellen were supposed to be
Yep.
background.
And then they were just way more interesting.
And they wanted to kill Bobby off after episode 5.
Yeah.
But then
There would have been no reason.
No reason for her to stay there. She would have
There would have
taken her
been no
money.
reason. You know what? I bet they made that decision at episode 4 that they weren't going to kill him off because Pam wouldn't have had a miscarriage.
Right.
If they were going to kill
she would have been pregnant and stayed there with the kid if they were
that's
going to
right.
kill Bobby off.
She would have had the baby in order to that's why they would have kept her on the ranch, the child.
Right.
Right, because if she wasn't pregnant, there would have been no reason for her to stay there.
Right.
And she would have taken whatever Bobby left her in his will, and then bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Pam, I leave you in my will my position of booze, broads, and booty for Ewing Oil. Please tend to it wisely.
So I'm giving this 4.75 bourbons because I thought this was a very important episode.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
good. So it's 4.75 bourbons and just a really bad feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with the 4.75. It's a pivot episode. Does the pivot, and I'm going to leave a serious washing after Gil Thurman is like delousing. Yeah.
I am going to give this 4.8 just to break the cycle.
Oh,
and a trip to the titty bar.
Oh, yeah. To see Wendy.
Yeah, actually, what I wrote down was
gas.
aha, cabaret. That's what I put in my notes when I realized what kind of club it actually was. Because I remember I asked last week, I was like, what is this place?
Yeah.
Is this a strip club, an escort service? Is it like a burlesque theater? What's going on here?
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, cabaret. Okay.
So to paraphrase Married with Children, instead of where the beer gives you gas and the Bundys kick ass, once again, it's where the beer gives you gas and Bobby kicks ass.
Faux show.
For shizzle and nizzle.
Well, next time we'll be talking about season 6, episode 18, episode 121 of the series, Requiem.
And I heard a rumor that Priscilla Pointer's daughter, Amy Irving, was on set during that episode.
That's right. That's what you said.
And we will find out why later.
Okay. In the meantime, if you haven't checked out our new TikTok yet, you should do that. I'm trying to be hip and cool and put stuff on the TikTok. We'll see.
Hey,
That
but
TikTok.
as Huey Lewis said, it's hip to be square.
That's right. Well, that's been my entire life. And I guess we'll check you next time. Until then, bye.
Happy Halloween. And don't light any black candles. Y'all come back now.
Titty bar.
Titties.
Titty bar.
Titties.
Titties.
Boobs are cool.
Yabos. Yabos, as they say.
Boys.
Next on Dallas.
You weren't content to embezzle money from my father's company, or to drag the whole family into this endless losing battle with the Ewings. You had to drag Mother into that one, too.
I have to get away from here. I can't live here anymore.
Leave Southfork.
I have to.
Doesn't anything matter to you?
Anything at all? Well, I didn't tell her to go to Houston. And I wasn't piloting the plane that crashed into her jet.
That should have been me. Oh, that should have been me.